So you just picked up your brand new Surron Ultra Bee, but you don't know exactly where to start to turn this thing into a real dirt bike. Today we're going to talk about the top 5 things you should do first to change your Surron Ultra Bee into a trail ripper. What's up, everybody? And my name is Josh, and today we are going to go over the first 5 things that I did to my Surron Ultra Bee to make it a better all-around trail bike. If you're new to electric dirt bikes or you're new to the Surron, it's probably difficult to know like where Surron starts, electric motors and electric dirt bikes start, and where the traditional gas bikes kind of pick up. But the reality is you can really make your Surron Ultra Bee whatever you want it to be. And today I'm going to go over the first 5 things that I did that allowed me to notice a major difference in the way this bike performs on the trail. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop over to the bike. I'm going to show you the first 5 things that I did. We're going to kind of talk through them a little bit. I'm going to give you guys some information. And the most important part is these things don't cost a ton of money. Upgrades, modifications, all the stuff that you can do to the Surron Ultra Bee definitely can break the bank if you're not careful, but these things are not going to break the bank, and they're going to improve your ride in the Surron Ultra Bee's capability immensely just by starting here. Okay, so here's the deal. The Surron Ultra Bee is an electric dirt bike. It's not a gas bike. You're not going to get the same exact gas performance out of the Ultra Bee like you would a gas bike. They're different entirely. Torque is totally different. The way they ride on the trail is totally different. Their weight displacement is relatively the same. The motor is usually up here, obviously, and then you have a big battery right here. So it keeps everything feeling really centered, planted, and smooth. But how do you make this bike faster or better on the trail? Now, what I did first was I removed the factory seat cover and I added a gut seat cover. It may seem like a small thing to do. It may seem like something that you don't really need to put too much thought into, but having the amount of grip the gut seat cover gives you versus a different seat cover or a seat cover that comes from the factory it's a totally different riding experience. You feel like you are planted on the top of the bike the entire time. And if you're wearing a gear set in like a traditional motocross style gear set, you're able to grip this seat way better, especially with your knees when you're going down hills or through tight trails or, just riding in general. The gut seat cover gives you a completely different feel on the trail than your factory seat cover, and you can do it for less than $200. So the first thing that I would do is I would change your seat cover to something like this. It doesn't have to be guts. It doesn't have to be the same exact thing, but I would change it to something that's going to give you a more planted feel and more confidence when you're in like tough terrain or hard trail type situations. The second thing that I would do, and that I did do, is I added a Pro Taper handlebar pad. That sounds stupid probably, but for about 25 bucks or 30 bucks, you can put a pad over the front of your bars. And again, it's not a performance-based thing, but these bars come completely wide open. And if you've ever taken one over the bars or you've ever taken your chest off the bars, it's not comfortable. And for 30 bucks, you can add one of these Pro Taper style, doesn't have to be Pro Taper, but it can be some type of handlebar pad that will your chest will save you later. And it's a very small addition. It does give it a little bit better of a look, and it protects your chest and your face from hitting these bars. Because I can promise you, the one thing that you will find is the amount of torque that this thing has is when you get going and you get going fast and then you slow down fast, your body weight wants to shift. And it's only going to take you one time to come off the handlebars to know that you probably should have put a bar pad on there. So those are the first 2 things I did. Very inexpensive, but very, very functional. So the third thing that I did is what gave me the most control on the trail. And that was replace the back tire with a new moto style back tire. I went with a 110 by 90 by 19. The rims that come on your Surron Ultra Bee factory are 19-inch wheels. They're not true moto wheels. Your front rim needs to be a little bit bigger, but you do not need to go spending money on a new wheel set right out of the gate, because you can do a couple of things and tweak a couple of items, and it can give you an immense amount of performance. Now, My back tire is a Dunlop rear tire. Like I said, it's a 110/90/19. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the back tire that comes factory from Surron, and I'm going to put it on where the front tire is. The reason for that is I believe it is an 119, I believe, that comes on the front of the Surron, and it's just so narrow. So you do wash out a lot. And not to mention you have a smaller wheel. A true moto wheel is a 21-inch wheel. So you're already dealing with a little bit smaller size, and you don't have as much traction on the front end of this bike until you put your back tire on. And it's a way to save yourself a substantial amount of money, because what most people do and what I'm going to do is buy new wheels for your bike. Well, when you buy new wheels, you need to buy new tires. And that can be about $1,000. I mean, a good wheel set is probably 800 to $1,000, and then a tire set is another 300 or 400 bucks. So you're looking at, roughly $1,200 just to get a new wheel set on here, when you can take what you have from the factory, spend the $150 on a new rear tire, take your old rear tire, put it on your front tire, and it completely changes the way that this motorcycle rides on the trail. I noticed a massive difference when we were out in Wayne National Forest, ripping through the woods. That rear tire makes all the difference in the world. And having a larger front tire is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to change that tire to a bigger front tire that came off the rear. And for 180, 190 bucks, I have a completely transformed bike just by using the parts that came from the factory. Fourth thing that I would recommend that you do that's pretty inexpensive is get new foot pegs. I ordered a set of KKE foot pegs. They are sitting over there in my garage. I'm going to put them on today. I have not changed them yet. These foot pegs are fine. They do the job, but having a little bit more bite, especially if you wear motocross boots, helps a lot. I still was able to gash my shin pretty good on these factory foot pegs, but having an aftermarket foot peg with better bite, it's a small item that you can start to build your bike off of, but it gives you a ton of traction and it gives you a ton of capability on the trail just by having solid footing. So the last one is boring, and I think it's something I should have mentioned as number 1, but I put it as number 5. The fifth thing that you should do is just go ride your bike. You should ride it in its stock form. I put 30 miles on my bike before I changed a single thing. 30 trail miles, not counting around the yard and up and down the street. That doesn't count. I put 30 really hard trail miles on this bike in its completely stock form. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to know how it truly performs, so I know what I need to do to make it perform better. And the tires were a huge piece of that, but you just need to go put miles on your bike to understand how it operates, to understand how it works, what it is that you need to do in order to make this thing faster, better, smoother through the trails. There's a lot that goes into it. And if you're not familiar with electric dirt bikes, or you're kind of just getting into dirt bikes because they're now electric, that's the biggest recommendation that I can make, is just go ride your bike, practice on it, learn it, figure out how it operates. You're going to wreck it. That's just part of the deal. Nobody rides motorcycles, especially in dirt, and doesn't wreck. So you kind of have to embrace that a little bit. But that would be one of the things that is the single most important, is just get out on the trail, ride this bike, and see how it performs. And then you'll have a better way to judge the changes that you make as your build progresses. Okay, so that's it. That is the first 5 things that I would do, that I am doing on my Surron Ultra Bee. If you guys like motorcycle style content, you like electric dirt bike style content, subscribe to the channel. I just picked up a couple of these. I do have a light bee as well. It is out in Arizona that I'm picking up next week. So I will have more to do with the light bee as well as the Ultra Bee. And a Stark Varg is high on my list, but I want to get this thing built out to see how it compares, so we can do an actual test to kind of give people information as to how that works and what they can expect depending on which way they go. So that's it. That's all I got. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I will see you on the next one.